Welcome back to the Royal Family Podcast. Today we're going to talk about something that happened a few weeks ago but has been on my mind ever since, and that is Matt Quatraro signing a 3-year contract extension. Now, my initial thoughts on this are this is psychotic and has zero justifiable explanations. But let me not be reactionary. Let me actually go a little deeper into this and see what conclusion we can grab. So as most subjects come with today, the two opinions that are most prevalent are essentially extremes on exact opposite sides of the issue. One side is people who judge the manager simply by if he makes the playoffs or not. That side thinks Q is the worst coach of all time. Literally, they think they would be a better coach than Matt Quatraro, even if they have zero experience. The other side saw Q lose 106 games, then come back the next year and make the playoffs. And so going forward, he is going to be seen as the greatest coach they've ever seen, no matter what the outcome of the season is going forward. I like to think of myself as a little more in the middle. Q has made so many questionable decisions, in my opinion, that I'm definitely a little biased towards being anti-Q, if you will. But I can see the nuance in things, or I at least feel like I can. So here's my reasons that this move makes zero sense. Q had 1 year on his contract. And after an underwhelming year last year where we went 82-80 and missed the playoffs, we easily could have just sat back, waited, see how this season goes, and then make a decision before we just commit to 3 more years of Matt Quatraro. So that makes zero sense to me. Why not wait? Why commit right now? We picked up his club option in 2025. The reason we did this is likely because we had the idea that we would extend him if he continued similar results for the following years. They saw Q turn an 106 loss team into a playoff team. They picked up his option for 2 more years, likely to see how well he did so they could decide if they were going to extend him or not. And then he misses the playoffs with a team that I would argue is a playoff team talent-wise, and then they extend him. How does that timeline make sense? Because it really doesn't to me. Even with all this, I can still play devil's advocate, and I would say if I was going to defend this move or rationalize this move, I would talk about stability. We are so close talent-wise that if we just tweak a few aspects of the team and then keep the rest the same, we should be on our way. So why not keep the manager that you've had with the majority of the guys on this team so you keep moving towards something and don't reset anything? So I could see that being a reason. The only problem with that is we could have done all of that without extending him before this year. We could have kept stability this year, and then if they're not holding him to that high of a standard, just make sure nothing terrible happens, make sure we don't lose 90 games this year, and then if you need to extend him after that, extend him. Going back to the point that Q turned around an 106 loss team into a playoff team the next year. Another caveat with that is managers don't affect every aspect of the game like people might think they do. Managers mainly affect the game by putting together the lineups, the bullpen, setting the rotation, and managing substitutions. What the manager does not do, though he can have input in, is signing new players, deciding the 40-man roster, picking the coaching staff, call-ups, options, trades. There's so many things that go on outside of the manager's control. And if you have a bad manager who makes bad decisions, he can be someone who's just standing in the way of an otherwise pretty good team. Another caveat to that argument is our team got exponentially better from 2023 to 2024 when we had that big flip in wins. Bobby had the best season of any shortstop in the history of baseball. Vinny finally broke out. Our pitching got so much better. Q was not the sole reason or even in my opinion, the main reason that we made that flip in 1 year. Here's another thing I've heard. People are saying this extension is a testament to the players all being behind Q in the clubhouse. Now, I'm not saying they hate the guy, but if you have ever seen this team, you know this isn't the case. Our guys, game after game after game, look tired, unmotivated, the opposite of fired up. And Q has never given them a reason to get fired up. He doesn't inspire them on a day-to-day basis, and I'm not even saying he's not helpful to them in other ways, but he's not that type of manager. And I'm not saying the players aren't okay with him staying, but I don't think they would revolt if he didn't stay. I don't think they're ride or die for him. Not all of them. Not most of them. From what I can see, and I don't know what goes on inside. Maybe I'm completely wrong. But from the eye test, I just don't think that's the case. Now, JJ Piccolo was quoted as saying, I think even more important when we try to think about what makes good managers and good leaders, they're not afraid to ask questions. And I think Quatraro's inquisitiveness, his curiosity, not only with the front office, but also our pro scouts, our development guys, is next to none. He has a lot of great questions. He's challenging in a very healthy way, and I think that's why we've been able to have such a great working relationship. This means one of two things to me. One, Q has no concrete plan of what he's supposed to do and is constantly changing it because he's lost. That's what it already looks like to me so often last year. It would make so much sense because of how inconsistent his decisions were last year. People call Q like an analytics guy, but if you look at the analytics and you look at his decisions, he's constantly changing. He's not following specific analytics and sticking with them for a large amount of time. He's changing his strategy like week to week to week to week. I think everything JJ said, all the qualities he's listed, are good qualities in a manager, but in a manager that seems like he doesn't really know what he's doing, it seems like almost his only good qualities are asking questions because he doesn't necessarily know what to do himself. That's what it feels like. The other possibility, and this is completely conjecture, I'm not basing this off of any evidence, JJ is really running the show and Q is just doing whatever JJ wants to keep him happy. And that's why Q gets this extension, because he listens to whatever JJ wants so often, which is a kind of a common thing in the history of baseball. But again, I can never know if that's the case or not. It just kind of sounds like that, which is kind of funny to me. In conclusion, congrats, Matt. We're happy to have you another 3 years. I can hardly wait to see what you've got next, see what's in store for the Royals this season. I am overjoyed that we gave you an extension. It makes me so happy.